how to answer the common app essay prompts. Let's see. My slide is not advancing. Hang on. Oh, sorry. Okay, these are the objectives of the talk. I also translated them into Indonesian. They might not be correct because I used AI. I don't speak Indonesian, okay? First of all, I'm going to introduce myself. First, we're going to brainstorm maybe some of the writing challenges that you have. Then we're going to look at the Common College application essay prompts. We're going to analyze and look at some examples. We're going to do an analysis and look at some examples. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about AI and writing. And then we'll do something to review what we did called froggy jumps. And then we'll have a discussion and conclusion. Okay, my name is Melanie Gobert. I came to work in Indonesia with the US Embassy in Jakarta about 10 months ago. I'm based in Ambon in Maluku. And before that, I worked in Saudi Arabia for 13 years. And then I worked in the United Arab Emirates for 20 years. Okay, maybe you don't know the country, the United Arab Emirates, but I'm sure you all know Dubai. Okay, I was an Emirates grant recipient in 2009 for taking this book that was written for native speakers about the beginning of Abu Dhabi, the beginning of the Emirates. And we simplified the language and made a student's edition. Now, I'm going to come back to this book near the end of the session today. So keep it in your mind. And if you see the little boy jumping with happiness at the very front of the book, that is actually the author of the book. And he's a very old man now, even older than me. And this is his personal story. Very moving. Okay, I also am an editor. I edited this English language teaching journal from 2008 to 2014 in the Emirates. You can appreciate more pictures of the Emirates, big changes from the picture we just saw before. And I'm also an author and editor for over 30 journal articles and book chapters. These are some of the books that I've contributed chapters to. I'm also a reviewer for 3 Scopus Index journals. I'm sure that doesn't mean very much to you as high school students, but as you progress through your career and perhaps one day become teachers or scientists, you'll appreciate it because these are very high-level journals. It's very difficult to get published in. So my point of all this is that I have a lot of writing background. And why am I in Indonesia? You might be asking yourself that. I was very happy when I got the assignment to come to Indonesia because I'm an avid scuba diver. And the picture on the left is me scuba diving in Raja Ampat. And the one on the right is a photograph of a seahorse that I took here in Ambon a couple of weeks ago. Now you can see the seahorse looks like he's having a baby. She's having a baby. It's a male seahorse. It is pregnant. It's the males that carry the eggs before birth. FYI. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn. All my work is published on academia. And you can also, if you're young, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is dive_Mimi. And even though my name is Melanie, the reason it's dive Mimi is because that's what my grandchildren call me. And here I'm in a photograph with my two grandchildren just before I came in September. Okay, let's move on to the session. Okay, what are some of the challenges you face in writing? I've also translated it into Indonesian using AI. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to think, and then I want you to put some of those challenges into the chat. Ensure we've got the chat open. So go ahead, 3 minutes. I advanced that slide by accident. Okay, think for 3 minutes and type your answer in the chat. What are some of the difficulties you face when writing English? Don't be shy. You can also chat in Bahasa Indonesian if you prefer, or you can do like I did and use Google Translate. How many people do we have here? Only 3?
We get 4.
Yeah, that's pretty good, but they're good answers.
Yeah, it's adding another one. Another one.
Okay, those are really good answers. So I'm very impressed. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I can advance this. Sometimes it does it, no issues. Okay, I'm sure these are some of the ideas that you came up with, right? Writing challenges, limited vocabulary, difficulty organizing ideas. No one said fear of grammar mistakes, but I think actually a lot of Indonesian students, when they write, without the help of AI or Grammarly or other tools. They get nervous because they know that they're going to make some grammar mistakes. And you mentioned some of those, and we'll come back to your ideas at the end if you have any specific questions. Okay. There are 7 prompts. They're not secret, and you choose the one you want to answer. So now we're going to go through all 7 prompts. We're going to do some analysis, and I hope I can bring you closer to understanding what they want without making you afraid. One thing I should say, when I saw your answers at the beginning, I don't want you to forget, you're 17 or 18 years old, you're an undergraduate student. So they're not looking for perfect writing and perfect essays. They hope this is what they will be able to teach you during those 4 years of college in the US. Okay, here is the first prompt, and I put it in English and also Bahasa Indonesian. But of course, I will read the English. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful, they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. Okay, notice it says, please share your story. So, background, identity, interest, or talent. And there's the translations, but I think you probably know these already in Indonesian. Now, background. What is a background that's interesting? Growing up in a rural village in Maluku with limited access to books or internet. That is an interesting and unusual background. Coming from a multilingual family. I think most Americans just think everyone speaks Bahasa Indonesian. Everyone just speaks Indonesian. But we know that's not true, right? Indonesia probably has, over 200 languages. And a lot of my students grow up speaking 3 languages before they start English, right? Because if your mother and father come from different regions, you might speak a different language. If your dad has a job in the military, you might grow up in another place. So you already speak 3 languages. English is not your second language. It's your third or fourth, right? So this is an interesting story. And of course, Indonesia is famous for natural disasters, right? The tsunami came through here, but I believe it was well before any of you were born. Okay, Lombok earthquakes, Palu tsunami. I know for myself, when I was in Bandung last year, I think it was in November, if I'm not mistaken, there was a volcano that erupted. And one of the young women, one of the young students with us, was a nun. And actually, 2 of her sisters from her convent were killed in the volcano eruption. So this is an interesting and unusual background story for the Americans who will be reading your common application essay. Identity, okay? Who you are, what's special about you. Being the first generation in your family to go to high school or dream of studying abroad. I spent the weekend with a colleague at the Polytechnique. He speaks such excellent English, and he's the head of the department. And he went to go study in Holland for his master's. And he said, I'm the only person in my family who ever went overseas to study. So this is interesting and special. And also, most Americans don't know very much about Indonesia. So they certainly don't know that it has, I think, 34 regions, and each region is special and different. So identifying as Papuan, Dayak, Batak, Ambonese, Balinese, or Minangkabau, and being proud of your traditions. The only ones of these that I know about are Papuan, Ambonese, and Balinese, okay? But I'm sure you know about the others, and I'm sure there's something special about where you come from and your region. Okay, another special thing about your identity might be growing up in a blended culture family. For example, with a Javanese mother and Chinese Indonesian father. When my students write for me, this is how I have begun learning about how different Indonesia is. Now, I don't know where you're all from. You might all be from Java, but I know in Ambon, we have many different cultures mixed. Sometimes we have religion mixed, and often there are families that are mixed. That makes you special. But the Americans that you're writing for, who will be reading your Common App college application essay, don't know anything about Indonesia. Okay, interest or hobby. These are some examples. Fascinated by marine life and coral reefs and wanting to become a marine biologist. The Americans reading your essay will be very interested in this because they're very concerned about the environment and ocean pollution. Okay, a passion for reading Japanese manga or K-dramas, which inspired you to learn new languages. Some of my students surprised me. I've been doing CVs with semester 5 students, and many of them speak a little Japanese or Korean. And of course, a lot of Asians have a strong passion for both Korean culture and Japanese culture. So that's something great to share. Okay, or of course, if you're a scientist, and I think many of you are at Garuda schools, so any strong interest that you have in robotics, coding, or AI, or app development is a good topic to talk about. Another one, which you will never find mentioned, is online gaming. I have students that speak excellent English, and I've had in my life, I should say, even in the Emirates, and they learned English by playing video games. That's a hobby that's very important to a lot of people, especially males. So if that's your hobby, don't be afraid to share it. Okay, special talents. I live in Ambon, which is the city of music. So I'm always surprised also because a lot of my students play different musical instruments. I think these are some traditional instruments. I don't know them, to be honest, but a lot of my students play the guitar or the ukulele. One young woman who doesn't say very much in class was the sound technician for the welcome back party. We had many performers, and she was running around with the mics and the equalizer. So any special talent that you have, such as anything traditional, is well worth writing about. Some of my students are also talented in speech, debate, storytelling, or poetry slams, winning school or national competitions. That's something to be really proud of. So it's a great topic for question number 1. Other skills you might be good at are badminton. Apparently, it's the most popular sport in Indonesia. Soccer, okay, which of course is football to all the rest of the world, except USA, if you're a soccer player, or archery, representing your school or region. These are talents that make you special and set you apart from others. Okay, now we're going to do a little froggy jumps game. Let me see if I can stop this so I can copy paste it in the chat, okay? So let me end this. Command copy. I'm going to put it in the chat. You should be able to just click on the link and go right to it, okay? So while you're doing that, of course, I will also go to froggy jumps. Okay, so let me stop sharing this one and share froggy jumps. I hope you haven't finished. It takes me a long time, of course, because I'm old, okay? So I have to stop sharing that one. And I have to share froggy jumps. Okay, so here we go. I hope you're all busy on froggy jumps too. Let me see if I can beat you. No. Okay, how did you do? Has everyone finished? Good, thanks for giving me a thumbs up to show me that you've finished. Okay, so I think you're ready to move on, yeah? Okay, prompt number 2. The lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you? And what did you learn from the experience? Okay, so I've underlined the keywords. I've also translated the prompt into Indonesian. Notice also it says the word recount. Recount is the same thing as tell a story. Okay, so let's look at an analysis of this prompt. Example, okay? My father passed away during my final exams. Okay, a tragedy in the family can really affect your performance. It's really hard to soldier on if something like that happens. Another example, I was not selected for the scholarship program. Facing disappointment. How do you face disappointment? I lost the national competition after months of practice. My family could not afford school fees. I struggled to study because we had no internet. Okay, these are real examples of challenges or obstacles that students might face. So you're instructed to tell that story and tell how you overcame those obstacles. Now we're coming up on the next prompt. Prompt 3. Reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome? Remember, these essays are quite short, actually. I think the word limit is between 200 and 700 words, if I'm not mistaken. Mohammed Iqbal, can you correct me if I'm mistaken?
Yes.
What's the word length?
It's around like 250, 300, around that numbers.
Yeah, so you don't keep going on and on and on, but you need to answer the full question. So reflect in your mind, write on your PC or phone. Tell the story. A time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What made you question it? What was the outcome? And I have some examples for you. Okay? This is a real example that happens sometimes in Indonesia. I disagreed when friends mocked other religions. I think Indonesia is a great country. I think you have 5 national religions recognized, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, we try to practice tolerance and understanding for all religions. But I have seen people make jokes about someone else's religion. So an example of a time when you stood up or disagreed with an idea is if you stood up for this and said, it's not right to mock people for their religion or to mock other religions. Tell the story. What about challenging the idea that English is useless, especially in the older generation? There's a lot of national pride for Bahasa Indonesian being the national language of Indonesia. It was a good project. It really worked to unify the country with one language. But for the older generation who didn't learn English, a lot of them feel like it's not useful. Of course, we know that's not true nowadays. You can get a better job if you speak English with an international company. What about the next one? I posted on Instagram to support One Peace protest. You see, I've shared with you my Instagram account, and in my work with students, in my work training other students in Bandung and other parts, I have a lot of student friends. I follow them on Instagram too. How I found out about the protest in Indonesia was my students posting about that. So this is something that people stood up for. And look, an amazing thing happened, right? The government changed course on what they had decided for extra benefits for the members of parliament. So if you supported this, That's a story of something you stood up for. You can share it with your American College App essay audience who probably don't know anything about it. Okay, or what about this one? I wrote on WhatsApp group about bullying Papuan students, okay? I haven't seen any of my students that I'm on the WhatsApp group bully any other students. That's not common, I don't think. But I'm the teacher, I'm in the group, so that's not a likely place they would do it. But it does happen here. Bullying is quite common in Indonesian schools, as it is all across the world in all schools. And social media bullying is something that goes on too. So if you've ever stood up for any of these principles, this is a story that you can write about. Prompt number 4, reflect on something someone has done for you that has made you happy or thankful in a surprising way. How has this gratitude affected or motivated you? This one I found really, really hard to write about. Something that made me happy or thankful in a surprising way, and how that gratitude affected or motivated you. But I did get a couple of examples, okay, that I think are realistic. My father sold his motorbike so I could pay school fees and continue my dream to study. That's probably something that happens commonly in Indonesia. Family sacrifice so that you can study. And I'm sure you're very, very, very grateful for that. Here is another example, I think, very worthy of Indonesia. My mother woke up at 4 a.m. every day to cook and help me study before school. I realized what real sacrifice and love mean. I know all your families work very, very hard to support you in school and help you be successful. That's something that you can be thankful and grateful for. I also know that in Indonesian families, the mother or the head, the oldest woman in the household, is the one who gets up and prepares the food for everybody when they have breakfast. I know how hard the mothers and the fathers work in Indonesia to support their students studying. So this is a really good example of something you can write about to show gratitude and thankfulness and how it affected you. I assure you that your American audience who reads your college app essay will not know anything about how it really is in Indonesia. Prompt 5, this might be easier for some of you. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and new understanding of yourself and others, okay? Again, I've underlined and translated the keywords and the key terms that you have to write about. Accomplishment, event, realization, personal growth, a new understanding. Example, and these are from my students. 1 second place in the MTQ scientific debate, English Quran category at high school, or representing my local high school in physics. So these are things you can use to write about and show as an example of something you achieved that you're very, very proud of and how it affected you. Okay, prompt 6. Describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose track of all time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? Okay, have you got that? I think this is the one where I show you what AI can do for you. Are you ready? Oh no, this is the one where we have to write an example. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to the slide but I want you to write some examples in the chat. Okay, I'll go back to show you the slide of the question. A topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose track of all time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? So over to you again in the chat. So I'll give you about 5 minutes to think and write. Okay, that's very good, Dennis. It's been 5 minutes, but I'll give you a few minutes more. I know it takes some time to write. Thank you for sharing, Rahan. Okay, someone else has just shared. I'm happy to give like 2 more minutes, and that's 10 minutes altogether. Give you time. I know you can't just write something off the top of your head. Okay, if you're anybody that's still writing or still working on it, just hold your work for the moment. And thank you to those of you who shared. It's been about 10 minutes of silence, so I don't like that happening. Hard to have a writing workshop online. But let us look together at some of the responses, okay? The prompt again is describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that you lose all track of time. Why does it captivate you? And who do you turn to when you want to learn more? Okay, so if we look at the first answer, memories. Many people go on vacations, events. I used to question pursuit. Okay, this is a very good answer, but there's again no personal you. You haven't told me about a vacation or a picnic or something you did with your family that created a memory. This kind of vagueness makes it also sound like AI generated, but I don't think this is, okay? But you're missing, for example, I went on vacation with my family X, and it doesn't have to be a vacation memory, okay? It can be a memory of something special that happened with you and your family, like a birthday party or the birth of a new sibling. Now, look here, you switch. This applies also to college and profession. So you don't stick on one thing, but you also don't answer part of the prompt that says, who do you go to when you want to learn more about this? Right? Who do you go to learn more? I'm trying to move my chat screen without closing it. Now I'm a little handicapped on the computer. Who do you turn to? Why does it captivate you? You begin. But who do you turn to? You change the subject. Okay? Now, this one, the second one, for me, this is probably AI generated. There's nothing personal in this, okay? And it wasn't actually the ancient Greeks who first began writing. The first book was The Tale of Genji, written in Japan. Okay? We need to think about AI, and we will be doing that. And the next question. There's nothing personal here, Rayan. It sounds like AI generated. I'm not accusing you, I'm just saying. Okay, Destiny, you get off to a good start. Drawing and sketching that describes an emotion to the viewers. It is something no words can describe. I usually went to YouTube when I want to study, but mostly I do self-study and learn from my mistakes. I assume here you're talking about drawing some more, but you need to tell me a lot more about why drawing makes you lose track of time. And you need to tell me who you go to. Is there someone special on YouTube? And why does it captivate you? Okay, here the next one also sounds like AI, Rayan, no offense, okay? Hard for humans to visualize something without a pre-existing reference. Then why do I know what a triangle is? It doesn't exist in real life. I've never seen one. Okay, sounds very AI generated. All of these do, as a matter of fact, and I'm not impressed, and I wouldn't be impressed if I were reading your Common App application. Now, I think in the next slide, we're going to look at AI a little bit because it's out there. Everybody's using it, right? Hard to resist. Okay, prompt 7. Share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. So actually, the common application gives you complete freedom. Here it says it can be an essay that you've already written, maybe an essay that you wrote for class, that you rewrote and polished, okay? Let's see what happens when I asked AI to answer this prompt. I usually would just give you the chance to read it, but I'll read it to you. It'll probably be faster that way. Listening. In a world full of fast conversations, quick opinions, and constant noise, it is easy to think that the most powerful person is the one who speaks the loudest. However, I believe true strength often lies in listening. Listening is not just hearing words, it is giving someone your full attention and trying to understand their feelings and thoughts. When we listen, we make others feel seen, valued, and understood. I have noticed that quiet students in class often have meaningful ideas, but they are afraid to speak. When someone listens to them with patience and respect, they gain confidence. Listening can help people feel more included and important. Listening also builds understanding between different cultures, beliefs, and opinions. Instead of judging quickly, we can ask questions and try to understand someone's story. Listening helps us develop empathy. It turns arguments into conversation and make cooperation possible. Finally, listening helps us grow. We do not learn new things by talking about what we already know. We learn when we listen to new ideas, new experiences, and new ways of thinking. Listening may be a quiet skill, but it has strong effects. It builds trust, growing understanding, and helps create kinder communities. I hope you can see my point if I mentioned that what you put in the chat box looked like it had a lot of AI. This is a lot of words, perfect English, but it says nothing, and it's completely impersonal, okay? I was very disappointed with AI. If I were reading this on someone's college application, I would say, this person has just used AI. It would not make you look good, okay? Let's go to the next slide, okay? Now, I ask AI to rewrite this on scuba diving, my favorite thing, right? Now, I haven't edited it or fixed it, but we're going to do that together. Beneath the surface. That's a nice title. I have always believed that the ocean is more than water. I have always been fascinated with scuba diving. When I was growing up, I watched Jacques Cousteau specials on TV. The underwater world. Okay? For me, it is a place of learning, silence, and self-discovery.
Sorry,
Well,
Dr. Gilbert, I think you have to stop your sharing.
Are you not seeing what I'm seeing? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you. This is why I need helpers. Stop sharing.
Can you share that
Okay, I
again?
want to share this one. Is that good?
There you go. There you go. You can see
Sorry about
now.
that. Okay. Okay, so I wrote, I have always been fascinated with scuba diving. When I was growing up, I watched Jacques Cousteau specials on TV. The underwater world. For me, it is a place of silence. And beauty. You can see things that you can never see on Earth under the water. Give some examples, like sea turtles, sharks, and seahorses. Okay, when I first began scuba diving in Indonesia, wrong. I first began scuba diving in Jambu in Saudi Arabia. This is crazy. I thought I was just exploring coral reefs and marine life, but soon I realized I was also exploring myself. I loved discovering that I could breathe underwater. It's a whole new world. Okay, I'm not going to keep rewriting this whole essay, but what I want to show you is if you ask AI to write your essay, you're not going to get anything good. You're not going to get anything that the people who are reading your college, your Common App for college will want to read. They'll probably suspect you of using AI. You can use AI, of course, but you need to use it in a good way. And the most important thing is to make your writing personal. Okay? Now, let me see what I can do here. I have a few more slides left. See if I can go back to sharing the slide of key takeaways. Okay, sorry about this slow pokiness. Key takeaways. Okay, is it sharing the screen? Yes, I see key takeaways. Write about the personal, the real, the truth. Dig deep. Make yourself and your experiences sound special. That's the key takeaway. Don't use AI except to help you correct your grammar, give you some vocabulary if you don't know the word in English. If you ask AI to write your college essay, it's not going to be good. Sorry to say that. I don't read anything that my students write outside of class anymore. So you can use AI to help you. Everybody is using AI. I used it to help me make this presentation. I used it to tell me about the Common College application, okay? I used it to tell me about the prompts. I used it to give me some examples, okay? And I used it for the translation. So AI has many, many good, valuable uses, and it's going to make your life easier. And it's going to make your life when you're at university in English easier because you have instantaneous translation. Okay, but there's a huge, huge caveat. If you over rely on AI, your English will not become better. And what happens in the 4 years at college, between high school, even for Native American speakers, is that they become very proficient at writing high level English because they acquire a lot more knowledge. Nobody's expecting you to have that knowledge right now as you graduate from high school. But you all have something special about you, something special about your school and what you're learning, and something special about how you experience life and reality and what you hope for the future. AI cannot write that for you because it's not you. So again, you can use AI to help you, but be careful. AI is formulaic. Teachers, admissions counselors, and AI checking tools are getting better at spotting it. Now, of course, in my work as a peer reviewer for academic journals, high-level academic journals are all investing and paying for AI checking tools. AI writing is formulaic. It's not personal. I'm sure that the makers of the Common College application platform will invest in AI checkers. So be careful, okay? Some universities ask for other written samples. My university made us sit down and write an essay the first day we arrived. Then all the English teachers graded the essay, and it was on this that they decided whether you could take advanced English or remedial English, okay? Even back then, before the internet was invented, they were not trusting the high school grades or the essay you wrote in your common application. And of course, many of the universities will interview you if they accept you on your common application before they finalize. And if your speaking ability and communicative ability does not match what you wrote, this will be a big black X for you. Just being frank, just being honest. Make it personal, make it real, make it about yourself. No one is expecting perfection. What they're expecting is to enroll students with character. Okay, we have time for another froggy jumps, and then we'll ask questions. So I have to do the same thing. I have to put it in the chat, and then you can enjoy yourself for a few more minutes. Wait, let me find the chat. Okay, only 10 questions. Let's see if you're successful with froggy jumps. So I suppose when you're doing froggy jumps, I can do it too. Whoops. Okay, has everybody finished froggy jumps? Oh, it's cool on my phone. The thumbs are coming up like hearts when someone likes a story. Okay, I think we're ready for questions and discussion. So now it's your turn, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Garber, for this session. It was really great. Give some example and some, brainstorm a little bit on the prompt. You also had like about the AI, how important to the AI for the students when they're writing the essay. I think we're gonna open up for one or two questions for this. If you wanna unmute or you just wanna type your questions, that would be great. Okay, we're gonna give one or two students who wanna ask questions because I think this session is very much important because we haven't talked a lot about the essay prompt, particularly for the common apps um, prompt. So this is the best time for you guys if you want to ask questions. Yeah. So Dr. Garber, while we waiting for others asking, I have a questions. So, is it okay if we get start our essay with AI and then we change it into more personal? Let's say that I'm writing one essay, one paragraph, and then I change that a little bit. That's what you did. Is that okay with that?
Well, what I really wanted to show you was me just changing that a little bit to make it more personal. But when I started reading it and doing it in front of you, because I didn't practice that, I realized this is not my story.
Mhm.
And I started changing all of it. So, no, I think it's a bad idea to ask AI first.
Okay.
I think you should start with your story and then use AI to help you in a good way, like brainstorming, if you can't think of any examples, you know, vocabulary, and of course, correcting the grammar and spelling at the end. That's perfectly acceptable. But if I were you, I would tell AI when it was complete and perfectly correct to make a few mistakes characteristic
Mhm.
of Indonesian English speakers.
All right.
But I would definitely start with my own personal story. And that's where the students will probably have the biggest challenges because, I mean, in Indonesia, it's quite a different culture than the USA. Indonesians are very private and they don't talk about personal issues very much. And now I've been here, as I said, slightly over a year. This is my third semester to teach, and I teach writing. Now, all the writing I grade is done in front of me under test conditions with no tools. And I thought last year, I thought, okay, an easy topic for people to write about is their family, because family is very important to Indonesians, and everyone will have something to write about, right? Well, the best writing was written by a girl who began like this: why did you ask us to write about your family? I hate my family. And she had an extremely bad home life, parents divorced, given to one of her grandparents to raise. That was very moving and very touching. I would have immediately accepted her into my college or university. That's how personal you have to be.
All right. So, others? Okay, Nikan, raise your hand. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. And I really want to ask, so actually I really like to read my friends' essay, especially like personal essay for my references. And sometimes when I read uh my friend's essay and compared to mine, I think mine is not as better as them. For the example, like I found it, my activity or my event is not as urgent as them. So sometimes I feel like my essay is uh bad. Yeah, I think. And can you have like any tips for tackling this issue? Thank you.
Well, I mean, they're not just going to accept you at university or not because of the essay you write on your
Mhm.
common college application, right? It's the whole package, right? Your grades, what you've done, how you communicate, how you express yourself. Writing a personal story is very important. And you can even write an essay about that topic, how you feel that your essay is not as good as your friends, and tell me a personal examples of this, because what you're suffering from is, insecurity or inferiority. That's a real obstacle on your path. What do you do to overcome it? How do you make yourself stronger? That's a topic right there for the essay. Now, I want you all to remember also that, going to an American university, they want to accept you. They want to accept foreign students. Foreign students have to pay more than local students. Your real challenge will be getting the scholarship that your government offers or getting one of the scholarships offered by other countries, including America. But it's not all make or break on your college essay, your Common App college essay. And even if it's a college or university that doesn't use the Common App, all colleges and universities require this. And what are they looking for? It's not always teachers that read it. Often it's it's often guidance counselors, right? Or admissions counselors who read it. You need to touch them with your personal story. You don't need to show them how smart you are or how great your English writing is, because that's what they're going to teach you during the next 4 years. It needs to be real. And even what you just recounted to me shows that you have insecurities, that you have self doubts. You could write about that.
All right. Thank you, Nikan, for the questions. We can accept one more questions before we close. Anyone to ask directly or just want to type your questions on your chat box? Saki, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Malani. This is Zaki, education USA advisor based in Malang. So my question is regarding AI. Is it allowed we use AI tools like Grammarly and then Microsoft Editor to help our to checking our grammar for common essay or other essay for our university admission?
Of course, it's okay. You're going to do it anyway. The mistake, not you personally, because I know you're from Education USA, but students, they're going to do it anyway. But you're not going to get a personal story from AI. And that's a big problem. You could ask AI to make up a personal story, right? They might have more trouble detecting that. You come from an interesting country. Americans don't know very much about it. So you could talk about some of the real issues in Indonesia and what you face and experience as a student. Everybody's going to use AI. I don't know what the future of writing or academic writing is. They might abandon the essay question entirely and start asking students to make a video presentation. Because, you know, even in business, people are using AI. It might, I think in the future, we might replace the need to teach writing because AI can do it for us. But if you're going to use AI to write this essay, you know, of course, it's always acceptable. These applications like Grammarly were already using AI. You know, they're already using adaptive technology. When Grammarly was first invented, it was only for native speakers. It's only later they started writing the program to help English as a second language learners. And then there's academic now, business. I mean, people are going to use these tools. But for me, the biggest challenge for the students and the young people attending this presentation is to think of what you're going to write about, because that's so hard. And a lot of people, you know, aren't the prize winner, aren't the best English student or science student in the school. They're not a karate expert. They don't know Japanese. You're going to have to think really, really hard about a good personal story that you can share. Even ask AI, brainstorm with AI to give you some personal topics that you can write about. Think about it when you're in the shower. And think about it as you go through daily life. The person who wrote about memories was off to a really good start. Other things that are very important in Indonesia, your family is so important to you. This is very, very different from US culture, where older people live alone or they go into assisted living, and people don't live all together in one compound or one complex. That in itself is a very, very interesting story. So think about what is special about your culture and where you come from, how it might be different. One piece and the protest in September, that would be a great thing to write about. That's a great thing that the young people of Indonesia did without violence, or without very much violence, without very much vandalism and looting. They were able to change the government's mind on these increases for the housing, for parliament, and the salary bump. That's pretty amazing. And it wasn't just happening in Jakarta, it was happening all over Indonesia. Young people were using social media, and that resulted actually in the Nepalese government and the Madagascarian government being overthrown. Thank God that the government of Indonesia capitulated for the people on this. What are some fears that young people have? How will I find a job in the future with AI? How will I support my family? You know, write about things that are real to you and that matter to you. Don't look for generic junk on AI. It's not going to be good.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Gerber. I think we need to do another AI session, I guess. It is amazing. I think our time is end now. Thank you everyone for joining today's workshop. We hope this session gives you more, clarity and confidence in approaching the common apps. If you have further questions, you can talk with Education USA. And once again, Dr. Garber, thank you so much for your time, for you sharing your value insight with us. If you want to have a session with Education USA, I think you can go with the, let me type it, uh, currently.com/education USA Indonesia. Okay, you can go to, is that correct? Yes, currently.com/education USA Indonesia. And you can find 8 advisors over there, just including me and Zaki and Lilis. Um, so you can talk and pick one and then bring your questions, and our advisors will help you answering all the questions regarding Common App as well. Hopefully this session today can help you a lot preparing your Common Apps applications. All right. Thank you so much once again. Have a great rest and have a nice weekend, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.